Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Amira Danielle and you just stepped into the glam office. So, in today's video, I am doing a girl talk, girl chat, kind of like a serious heart-to-heart that I want to have with you guys because I want to tell you guys what I recently went through and how 2020 has tried multiple times to kick my ass and how I have fought back multiple times and how I have overcome a lot of shit that I've been going through. So in a couple of videos back I talked about like my depression and like going through stuff, and I never really talked about what I really went through, but I went through some shit. Like I really went through a lot of stuff. And this video is all about that. So the purpose of this video is for me to talk to you guys about why I stopped smoking weed. Crazy, right? I feel like, okay, for one, I've been smoking weed for a long time. Yeah, a long time. Like I was smoking for a minute. Like in high school I was doing it, not as much, but I was definitely doing it. When I got to college is really when I was doing it a lot more, like on an everyday basis. So yeah, I was smoking a lot of weed in college, like every day. Even when I got home from college and everything, still doing it like all the time. Pandemic came around, I was doing it even more. And then I started to feel like the weed started changing. Like I started feeling like it wasn't as strong as it could have been. I was feeling like I just started smoking a lot. Like probably I want to say like an eighth a day, give or take. Like I was smoking. I was a smoker and I genuinely like to smoke. Like, Grayson, come here. Come here. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Up in my mouth. You're making too much noises. So, I genuinely like to smoke. I like the feeling of it. I liked being high. It was like a relief. Not only because of all of the feelings of it and just I genuinely liked it, but like once I got laid off and everything, and I feel like I just got depressed. Like it wasn't shit for me to do. I was literally just on my couch smoking. Like I remember it would be days, every day I wake up and I open my curtains and I just let the sunlight in and I literally say like, thank you God for waking me up today. He goes back to the toy. I say thank you God for waking me up today. I'm here, you know, whatever. Like there would be days where I just didn't even open the curtains. Like it was really a dark time. And you know how when you're smoking, you pretty much are dependent on smoking so you can eat. Like any smoker knows when you smoke before you eat, it's like the best. Like the food tastes different. It just hits totally different. This would have been back in May, I think. End of April, May. I remember my appetite started getting real different. Like I really needed to smoke before I ate. And if I didn't, like if I ate before I smoked, it was like my appetite was different. Like I was not hungry. And if I did eat, I could only eat like a couple bites. And then I'm like, all right, this is nasty. Like I'm nauseous, or my body would literally reject food. So cool. Boom. That kept happening for like a couple days until this one day I was drinking. So I was smoking and I was drinking, and I'm thinking like, okay, I'm doing too much with the drinking. Cause when I go in, I go hard. Like, and I was doing that shit like almost every day for a point in time. And it was just like my release. I also just felt like it was my time to, I'm young, I'm 23, y'all. Like I'm young, lit, turned up. Like every day was a party for me. Everything was a party. it's just fun. Like, why not, right? So this one specific day, I go over to my friend's house. We're drinking. You know, I probably smoke. I don't know if we were smoking, but I know specifically we was drinking. And I got home and I started throwing up, and I'm like, all right, it's just a hangover. Like, I'll be okay. When I tell you guys, I did not stop throwing up until 8 days later. So let me tell you, that day, drinking, doom, drinking, smoking, throw up. That entire night, I was in the bathroom throwing up my guts. Like, it was like, after you throw up everything, you start to throw up bile, which is like the lining of your stomach. So that's what I was throwing up. Like, it was yellow. It was nothing coming out but just that. And it was painful after a while because throwing up is exhausting. Like, constantly throwing up. To constantly throw up, it takes a lot out of you. And I'll get more into that later. So that's really what I was doing, just throwing up. Like, it was so bad. So the next day, my boyfriend, he wakes up and he's like, you want to go to the hospital? Like, why are you throwing up like this? And I'm like, no, I don't want to go to the hospital. It'll go away. Like, it's just probably just a hangover. And he's like, this doesn't seem like a hangover. So I kept throwing up, you guys. When I tell you, I tried to eat crackers, whatever. It was not working. So finally, later on that day, I'm like, okay, we can go to the hospital. I go to one hospital, and they're like, oh, it's probably just a hangover, the way I'm explaining it to them. I'm like, no, I've had a hangover before. Like, I was graduating from college. I know what a fucking hangover is like. Like, this isn't a hangover. So I think, did they admit me that day? I don't remember if I stayed overnight at this hospital this one day. But no, I didn't. But I was there for a long time. They gave me fluids and stuff, and that was making me feel better because I had threw up all of the nutrients and fluids and stuff in my body. Anything I put down was coming up. It didn't matter what it was. So I had to get my fluids from the IV. So, okay, cool. I go home. I'm trying to eat crackers and keep it steady like that. Nothing's working. When I tell you, I was probably throwing up at least like minimum 4 times a day. I'm not being dramatic. I'm not lying about this. Like, minimum 4 times a day. So I call my sister. The next day she comes over. She takes me to another hospital. Same thing. They give me the IV. They're just asking me questions. Sent me home. So she's like, no, this is crazy. There's something really wrong with you. So we go to another hospital. This is the 3rd hospital I went to in like 3 days. In like the 2 days at this point. So we go to Penn. They admit me. And it's like the feeling that I felt was like no other. Like, I can't even really begin to explain how bad this was. So anyways, I get to Penn. They're asking me questions. I'm telling them, like, yeah, you know, I do smoke weed. I guess when they took my blood or my pee or whatever, they had seen the amount of cannabinoids in my body. And they said it is called cyclic vomiting syndrome. This is what the first hospital tried to say I had as well, cyclic vomiting syndrome. So I'm looking it up, I'm Googling it. They ended up admitting me into this hospital, the 3rd hospital, Penn. So I stayed overnight, I got the IV in me and stuff. And they said that I have an excessive amount of cannabinoids in my body. And pretty much that is like, cannabinoids are the things that is in weed. So cannabis, cannabinoids. When your body consumes too much of them, there is something, you can get something called CHS, Cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome, CHS. So I found this out from Googling. Like, literally while I was in the hospital, I was Googling this shit up. Because the hospital was trying to say I had cyclic vomiting syndrome. I know I don't have fucking cyclic vomiting syndrome. I know I'm cyclically vomiting, but that's not what it is. Like, there's something wrong with me. And they just... I feel like the fucking hospitals don't know what they be talking about. Like, they just are so cut and dry and stuff. It's like, no, there's really something wrong with me. You don't believe me. I don't know if it's because I don't want to start playing the race game, but is it because I'm black that you guys think I'm lying about what's going on? Like, no. So I did my research. You guys, CHS, Cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome. That's what I have. That's what I had. And it was horrible. So let's go back. I'm still at Penn. I stayed overnight. They're trying to say that hot showers will make you feel better. In the middle of the night, because you know they wake you up like every 3 hours for vitals and stuff. In the middle of the night, I'm still throwing up. They put me in the, they tell me to go in the shower. The fucking shower doesn't even get hot. Like, at this point, I'm probably like 3 days into being sick. So I already started losing weight. And when I tell you losing weight, I mean losing weight. Like, I was like this, like so bad. I lost 20 pounds, I think. Because I remember I was like 120-ish, 120. I was between 120 and 125 around that time. And I was just so happy because I'd always been so thin. Like, I was starting to get thick. My butt was getting big. Like, I just was really confident and happy in my body and how I was looking. That to start losing weight like that really tore my confidence down too. So yeah, once I got discharged from the hospital, I stayed with my cousin for 7 days. I stayed with her for 7 days. She picked me up, me and my dog, and literally like nursed me back to health. When I tell you guys, I couldn't even believe the type of love, energy, and care that she was putting into taking care of me. I was crying. Like, I cried every single day. I'll try and put some pictures up. They're really embarrassing, so I don't know if I will, but just the state of my entire being was just depressed. Like, imagine trying to eat. Like, there would be times where I would have an appetite and get hungry, but trying to eat and literally just throwing up every single thing you put in your mouth multiple times a day. Waking up, throwing up. Like, also throwing up when you don't have nothing in your stomach. You start throwing up the acid that's in your stomach. The acid in your stomach breaks down the food. I started throwing that up. My teeth started, like, your teeth, it breaks down the enamel in your teeth. So it was to the point where my teeth were like fucked up. Mentally, I just was very down. But she really helped me like get back on track spiritually and mentally. We did a lot of like spiritual healing. I threw away all of the medicine that the hospital gave me because that shit just made me throw up even more. Like, I can't eat. You guys are trying to make me have steroids, like take steroids and different shit that is just like, it makes it worse. And not only could I not eat, guys, and I was throwing up, I couldn't pass like a bowel. So I was constipated and it was just terrible, like terrible. Another thing that was really helping me was I stopped eating meat, and my cousin don't really eat meat like that, so she had me really on a no meat, no dairy type of diet. And when I tell you my skin was the best it had ever been, it was crazy, like crazy. So yeah, it was me, her, and my dog for 7 days in her apartment, nursing me back to health every single day, guys. And I think I got better after the 8th day. So I don't want to say I was sick. I was probably sick for probably like 9 or 10 days. If I stayed with her for 7 and I was throwing up for 8. Hot baths and hot showers were really what like really helped me come to peace for small amounts of time. But Yeah, it was very hard. Like, and CHS is very rare. It is it doesn't happen to everybody, because as you can see, like, people smoke weed every day. You probably smoke weed every day and never had anything like this happen to you. You probably think that I'm lying, but I'm telling you, if you look it up and Google it and YouTube this shit, people go through this. This happens to people. It is a real thing. I'm in Facebook groups where people are going through the exact same things. Like, but it gets better. So I ended up getting better after my 8th day or whatever. I went for like, I don't even think I went for 2 months, you guys, before I started smoking again.